Good evening, everyone. Today our group will be presenting about the National Education Blueprint (RPN) 2026 and 2035, strategy, aspiration, and the transformation of teacher identity. Education is always evolving, especially in response to global challenges such as technical advancement and social needs. Because of this, the Malaysian education system continues to improve in order to prepare students for the future. The RPN 2026-2035 is an important national plan that aims to focus and transform the education system so that it's focused not only on academic achievement but also on the development of holistic individual. Okay. So the first important aspect of the new education blueprint is the evolution toward the concept of insan sejahtera. Previously, many education systems focus heavily on academic performance and examination results. Students were often evaluated mainly based on grades, ranking, and test score. While academic excellence is still important, this approach sometimes overlooks other important aspects of human development. The National Education Blueprint 2026-2035 aim to move away from an exam-heavy system and shift toward a more human-centric model of education. According to UNESCO 2022 report titled Reimagining Our Futures Together, future education system should focus not only on intellectual achievement but also on human well-being and social responsibility. This idea reflects in the concept of insan sejahtera. Insan sejahtera refers to individuals who are balanced in multiple aspects of life. This includes intellectual development and emotional stability. In other words, the education system aims to produce individuals who are not only knowledgeable but also responsible. This is particularly important in study world, where students face many challenges and uncertainties such as rapid technological change and social challenge. By focusing on the development of insan sejahtera, the education system hopes to nurture individuals who are capable of the change contributing to society. Therefore, the shift represents a more holistic vision of education that prepares students not only for academic success but also life. Another important aspect of the RPN 2026-2035 is the introduction of structural reform to strengthen foundational mastery among students. One of the key strategies is improving early childhood education. Research has shown that the early years of learning are extremely important for a child's cognitive development. Because of this, the Ministry of Education plans to lower the school entry age to around 6. This allows children to begin formal learning and grow strong foundational skill before progressing to higher level of education. Another reform is the reintroduction of centered learning metric for Year 4 and Form 3 students. However, these assessments are not meant to function like traditional high-pressure examination. Instead, they are designed to provide useful data about student learning progress. Through this assignment, teacher and school can identify learning gaps at an early stage. For example, if students are struggling with literacy or numeracy skill, teacher can implement targeted support and intervention. This approach allows educators to focus more on improving learning outcome rather than simply evaluating performance. In this way, the reform aims to ensure that every student develops foundational skills that are necessary for future learning and success. Okay, so the third key focus of the blueprint is promoting the VET as a premier career path. In the past, technical and vocational education and training, or TVET, was often perceived as a second option for students who were not academically strong. This stigma caused many students and parents to prefer traditional academic pathway. However, the RPN 2026-2035 aim to change this perception. One of the strategies is to introduce early exposure to technical and creative skill in primary education. Starting from primary year 1 from 2000 to 7, students will be introduced to activities such as basic robotics and creative making. This activity encourages students to explore practical skill from a young age. Instead of only focusing on theoretical knowledge, students will also learn how to apply their knowledge through practical experience. This is important because the future workforce will require individuals who are not only knowledgeable but also technically skilled. By strengthening the VET education, Malaysia can develop a workforce that is capable of supporting industries such as technology, engineering, and manufacturing. In addition, promoting the VET can help reduce the country's reliance on foreign skilled labor and encourage the development of local expertise. Therefore, positioning the VET as a premier career path helps create more diverse opportunities for students and support the nation's economic development. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, so Malaysia's education system is about to get a huge shakeup. It's all about a new vision called Insan Sejahtera. But what does that actually mean? Basically, it's shifting focus from just exam scores to building a well-rounded person. And this isn't a short-term thing. It's going to shape education for the next decade. Yeah, the big idea here is moving away from that stressful, exam-heavy culture. So how do you make this vision a reality? Well, it starts with some major structural changes. Instead of just high-stakes exams, the new system is about holistic assessment and helping kids early. One of the first big moves, lowering the school entry age for stronger foundation. And no, these new metrics aren't your typical exams. They have a totally different purpose. The whole point is using data to support students who need help, not to pressure them. And here's the timeline. You can see things start rolling out as soon as 2025. But it's not just about structure. It's about building skills for the future right from day one. This is a real strategy to make vocational education a top choice and value practical skills. The long-term play here is to build up a strong local workforce, starting young. And it all ties back to that core idea, creating a capable and resilient generation. So the big question is, how will all this really shape Malaysia's next generation?
Good evening, everyone. To establish a common starting point, let's define Malaysia's digital aspiration through the idea of becoming an AI nation and why digital literacy is vital for students today. Given the rapid adoption of AI across all sectors, it follows that students must develop high-level digital skills. This brings me to the core of today's talk, Malaysia's strategy for global competitiveness, because these technologies are now the backbone of the global economy. According to Batman 2008, this evolution has introduced digital literacy, which is the ability to use digital tools and navigate online information effectively. So our main priority is to transforming the Malaysian education system to meet these digital demands. Next, for the evidence, the government and related organization has introduced several initiatives to support this goal. One example is the Jelajah AI My Mahir initiative, which aims to increase awareness and understanding of artificial intelligence among students and young people. In addition, the Malaysia Digital Economy Corporation (MDEC) has introduced around 3,000 elective learning tracks related to AI and data science by 2025. These programs provide opportunities for students to explore areas such as coding, data analysis, and machine learning. Now, let's look at the explanation. So, these initiatives are important because they help shift students from being passive consumer of technology to becoming active digital creators. In the past, many students mainly use technology for entertainment or basic tasks such as browsing the internet or using social media. However, in the future digital economy, students are expected not only to use technology but also to create digital solutions, design applications, analyze data, and innovate using AI tools. By exposing students to AI and digital technologies early, the education system encourages them to develop critical thinking, problem-solving skill, and creativity. These skills are essential because to upgrade innovation and for building a strong digital economy in Malaysia. For this slide, I will explain about bridging the digital divide in Malaysia, which is an important part of achieving digital equity in education. First and foremost, the main idea is that Malaysia needs to ensure equal digital access for students in all regions, including urban and rural areas. According to MCMC, urban internet users outnumber rural internet users by approximately 3 to 1, indicating that infra and infrastructures, as well as access and individual capacity, are more limited in many rural Malaysian locations. In the digital age, education increasingly depends on technology such as online learning platforms, digital assignments, and AI-based tools. However, not all students have the same access to these resources. Furthermore, according to research comes from the World Bank report in 2023, which highlights Malaysia's strategic focus on expanding 5G connectivity and stable broadband infrastructure. especially in rural areas such as Sabah, Sarawak, and parts of Perak. These regions historically face challenges such as limited internet coverage, slower connection speeds, and unstable networks. A clear example of this is providing hardware like tablets or laptops alone is not enough. If students do not have reliable internet access, for example, a student may receive a tablet from a government program, but without stable connectivity, they cannot attend online classes, access digital learning materials, or even submit assignments. Therefore, digital infrastructure becomes the foundation for effective digital education. When rural communities have strong broadband and 5G connectivity, students can participate in the same digital learning opportunities as students in urban areas. Other than that, bridging this infrastructure gap is also important for educational justice and equity. Education should provide equal opportunities for every student, regardless of where they live. By improving internet connectivity in rural regions, the government helps reduce the inequality between urban and rural students. In the long term, this also prepares Malaysian students to participate in the AI-driven global economy, where digital skills and online access are essential for learning, innovation, and future careers. The next point I would like to discuss is about digital ethics and data sovereignty in education. First and foremost, the main idea is the importance of protecting national education systems from unregulated influence by global technology companies, often referred to as big tech. Today, many schools in digital platforms such as online learning tools, cloud storage, and AI-based educational application. While these technologies provide many benefits, they also raise important concerns about data privacy, student safety, and control over educational information. The evidence can be seen in the development of policy frameworks related to data privacy and the role of technology companies in classrooms. Government and education authorities are increasingly creating guidelines to regulate how digital tools collect, store, and use student data. This policy aims to ensure that sensitive information such as students' personal details, academic records, and learning behavior is properly protected. Furthermore, when schools adopt global digital platforms, large amounts of student data may be stored in external servers managed by international technology companies. Without proper regulation, this data could potentially be used for commercial purposes, targeted advertising, and other activities that do not prioritize educational goals. Therefore, teachers and education institutions have an important responsibility. They must ensure that technology is used ethically and responsibly in the classroom. Technology should always serve pedagogical purpose, meaning it should support teaching and learning, rather than simply promoting commercial interests of unnecessary digital dependence. This is where the concept of data sovereignty becomes important. Data sovereignty means that a country maintains control and authority over data generated by its citizens, including students. By establishing clear policy and ethical guidelines, government can ensure that educational data remains secure and is used only for appropriate learning purposes.
Today, we're diving into Malaysia's ambitious plan to build its next generation of innovators. So, how do you even start? For Malaysia, it all kicks off with a really bold vision. They're calling it an AI nation. So, what does that actually mean, beyond just a cool name? Well, the whole plan is built on three crucial pillars: skills, access, and safeguards. First up, pillar one, skills. The big idea is to turn students from tech users into tech creators. And we're talking big numbers here. Check this out, 3,000 new electives in AI and data science. This whole push is being driven by a national initiative called Pelajar AI My Mahir. Okay, so the kids have the skills, but what happens if they can't actually get online? And this really gets to the heart of it. Giving out tablets is pretty useless without solid internet. Which brings us to pillar two. It's all about bridging that digital divide, starting with infrastructure.
Now, I will discuss the most important component of all, the hardware. As we reach the final and perhaps most personal segment of our group presentation, we must acknowledge a fundamental truth, a national blueprint. No matter how well funded or how technologically advanced, is only as good as the human being who execute it in the classroom. Whether we have 5G in every school or AI-powered textbook for every child, the heartbeat of education remains and will always remain the teacher. In this section, I will be exploring the transformation of a teacher identity under the National Education Blueprint RPN 2026-2035. We are not just talking about a change in a job description or a new set of KPIs. We are talking about a complete radical evolution of who we are as educators. We are moving from being instructor to being architect of the human soul. Let me ask a question. In a world where AI can answer my question and can answer any question, what is left for teachers to do? The answer is simple yet profound. We are the one who teach the student how to be human. Let us dive deep into what this means for the future Malaysia and our professional identity. My first slide, the teacher as architect of character and moral compass. Our main idea here is that the teacher are the primary agent of change in the RPN 2035 era. Evidence for this fundamental shift in our professional DNA. For many decades, the Malaysian teacher was primarily seen as an information provider. Our job was to stand at the whiteboard, deliver facts, and prepare students for a standardized exam. But today, we live in an era where information has become a commodity. Let me provide 4 deep critical justification why our identity must change. The information surplus and the role of wisdom. In the year 2035, if a student wants to know the law of physics, the dates of the molecular sultane, or the chemical composition of a star, they don't need a teacher. They have AI, they have high-speed internet, and they have instant access to the world's knowledge. Therefore, our value as a teachers is no longer in what fact we know, but in providing the wisdom to use that knowledge. We move from transferring knowledge to transforming perspective. Number 2, national identity and social cohesion. Under the RPN 2035, we are tasked with building a national identity. This is a heavy responsibility. In a globalized world where our students might lose their roots, we are responsible for ensuring they grow up with a strong sense of integrity, compassion, and patriotism. We are the one who teach them that being a Malaysian means embracing diversity and upholding the Rukun Negara in every action. Number 3, the crisis of ethics in the digital age. We are seeing a global crisis of ethics, deepfakes, cyberbullying, and a digital scam. Our identity must move towards becoming character builder and ethical leader. We are not just teaching math, we are teaching honesty through data. We are not just teaching science, we are teaching environmental ethics. Number 4, resilience in a volatile world. Our students face a world that is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. A teacher's identity now includes being a resilience coach. We teach students how to fail, how to get back up, and how to stay mentally strong. If we fail to build the character of our students, we have failed the nation, regardless of how many A's they achieve in their reports. We are the moral compass in an increasingly automated world. We are the one who translate the insan-sejahtera aspiration from a piece of paper into living, breathing reality in the heart of our children. Moving to the next slide, we explore the dual identity required for the future. The main idea here is the delicate, necessary, and sophisticated balance between digital efficiency and human empathy. As evidence, the OECD 2023 framework highlights that future teachers must act as a designer of learning environment. This means we must be AI savvy. We should use AI to handle the heavy lifting like grading, multiple choice question, tracking attendance, and generating personalized lesson templates for 40 different students in seconds. However, let's look at the critical explanation, the empathy gap that no machine can ever fill. Number 1, data versus connection. Automation can optimize a lesson, but AI can never provide mentorship. An algorithm can identify that a student performance is dropping. It can send an automated warning to the parents, but AI cannot sit down with the students, look into their eyes, and realize they are struggling because of personal tragedy, a lack of self-confidence, or a problem at home. Number 2, the role of pastoral care. Our future identity is to use technology to free us from the robotic part of our job, the paperwork and the admin, so that we have more time for the human-centric role of pastoral care. We use technology to become more human, not less. Number 3, case study scenario. Imagine a student who is gifted in art but failing in math. And AI might just keep giving them more math days. But an ITV teacher will use AI to design art-based math curriculum for that specific student. This is where high touch meet the high touch. We use AI as a tool to give us the freedom to be the mentors, the listener, and the inspiration that our students desperately need in a lonely digital age. This balance is the hallmark of a professional teacher in 2035. We are not competing with AI. We are commanding it to serve the human soul. Now for our last slide. Let us reflect on the most powerful and sacred term in our entire presentation, guru berjiwa pendidik. The main idea is that the teacher is the ultimate bridge to achieving Malaysia's Vision 2035. The evidence is clearly stated in the RPN 2035 focus on the holistic human or insan sejahtera. When educators have soul, meaning they have possessed an unbreakable passion and deep-seated resilience and an unconditional love for their students' growth. To explain my final reflection as we close this presentation, I want you to imagine the impact. Being a teacher in the year 2035 will be more challenging than it was for any generation before us. We will have more tools but also become distraction. We will have more data but also become pressure. Yet our mission remains timeless and unchanging. A teacher with soul is someone who stays resilient when the technology fails. Someone who perseveres when a student wants to give up. Someone who sees the inside sejahtera in every child, even when the child cannot see it in themselves. Our professional identity is the heartbeat of Malaysia. If we are ethical, our students will grow up ethical. If we are innovative, our students will become innovator. We justify today that the success of the RPN 2026-2035 does not happen in the meeting room of the ministry. It happened in the quiet, profound moment of a connection between the teacher and the students. We are at the bridge to the future. We are the guardian of the next generation. That's all from my group. Thanks.
By 2035, what it means to be a teacher is going to look totally different. Let's break it down. So what does it mean to teach in 2035? It's way more than just leading a classroom. You see, the mission itself is changing. Teachers are now the ones making national policy a reality. We're moving from just being an information provider to being a character builder and an ethical leader. And this new role, it shapes a student's entire worldview, way beyond any textbook. To pull this off, teachers have to embrace a dual identity, balancing two huge opposing forces. First up, they've got to be AI savvy, using tech not to replace, but to supercharge their teaching. And second, the flip side, being deeply human-centric. That's the human touch tech just can't do. I mean, even the OECD said it back in 2023. You just can't automate empathy. It's that simple. So what does this all lead to? The rise of what we're calling the soulful educator. This isn't just some feel-good title. It's the bridge to hitting the big goals of Vision 2035. It's all about aligning with national goals and mastering that dual role of tech integrator and mentor. Basically, a teacher with a soul is our guarantee that the future will still have a human heart. So it leaves you with this question. In a world full of AI, is the human soul the most important subject?